How's this week been? Kind of coming off the bye week, get rolling again. How do you feel like your team's at?
Yeah, I think last week, we took an approach, and Coach Stoops just did such a great job of getting our guys into a mindset of getting better throughout the bye and not just getting through the bye. And I do believe that we took some steps forward in some areas that we needed to improve. We focused on some areas in terms of red zone, some of the personnel things. We worked on some situational football that I thought that we really got some quality reps at, which was nice. And some things that we're going to have to obviously look at is 2-point plays. Having those ready to go, and I'm sure every coach in the country probably went into, on Sunday and said, how many 2-point plays do we have to find? And so it's just great that some of those situations can come up when you do have time.
When you look at their stats, it looks like they're good against the run. I've not watched them all, but what kind of makes that happen for you?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a feast and famine type situation where they love to move up front. They do a ton of movement. That 3 down, 4 down, a ton of different ways to get to all their different fronts. They can create some chaos in the backfield. Their interior D linemen are pretty good football players. It'll be one of those games of attrition where we have to stay patient with the run game, and they might hit a couple things for TFLs based on their structure. But if we can stay the course and really wad some of that stuff up, I think we have a chance in the run game.
Mondale's made so many, electric plays this season. He still made some good plays in that Georgia game, but maybe, their athleticism and their speed at Georgia kind of contained him. Did you learn anything about that when watching the film? Like, let's get some things, let's get him going a little bit more.
Yeah, he had 14 targets, I think, and it's tough when there's some targets that you're trying to get them further than 5 or 7 yards, but you got to protect it against the defense like that. Is difficult to do. We tried to take a play action at one point, got hit in the back of the head, twice, and that's going to happen when you're playing against some of those guys up front. So it's a fine line between getting your best player the ball in his hands. I mean, when he has 14, I think it was even more than 14 targets. Some of those are going to get completed, some of them aren't. Yes, we'd love to get a little bit more production in terms of the yardage, but I think he'll be the first one to tell you that. He's like, I'm getting the ball in my hands and there's a lot of people around me. And that's a testament to their defense and the way that they fly around.
Liam, Will seems to be improving every week. Is there a definitive next step for him?
Yeah, I think it's continuing to get these reps at live pocket, being a quarterback reps. And I know I've mentioned it a few times, but there's still a point for him that these are all a lot of new situations that he's been put in, and I think he's doing an unbelievable job right now. It's continuing to manage the game, but I think like you said, you saw him take a little bit of a step in terms of being a quarterback last week, and that's where we're trying to continue to get him to, is being a true quarterback. And yes, he's athletic, yes, he can run, but for us to have success, we need him to continue to play like he did last week.
What are a couple things that you feel like your unit's doing well and has done well this season, and what are a couple things that you guys still need to do?
I think in terms of being able to run the football with some variety, I think we've shown some variety in the run game. Our guys have handled it really well, whether we've run some tight zones, some wide zones, some counters, some pin and pull, and having some variety in the run game and trying to match that up with some of the things that we're doing in the action game. You see LSU was probably our best look at that, in terms of that true marriage of what we're trying to get accomplished. And I think that the production out of the quarterback over the last few weeks is something that we definitely look forward to. And then our backs, I think, are playing at a high level. Things we need to improve on, guys stepping up and making plays on the outside, other than one. We need guys to step up and make plays. And when their number's called, some guys did step up last week in some instances, but it needs to be a little bit more consistent so that Will has trust in some of those other guys to step up and make plays. I thought the tight ends did a great job in the pass game last week, got them really involved, and that's something we need to continue to do. And I think that our play of our tight ends has just been very solid. That's just another thing that kind of is a trend of those guys. But then you add some of the playmaking ability on the screens and some things that we were able to do last week. But, you know, we got to make sure we continue to finish with touchdowns. You know, we had been doing a nice job of finishing in the red zone with touchdowns. Last week we get down there, that situation, we don't score a touchdown, it's a big momentum swing, and then we get the field goal block. So finishing in the end zone with touchdowns.
You know that you can take a lot of from Georgia's defense because they're so good to apply earlier. But how do you get back to that explosive passing, the downfield passing? You were doing it against LSU, but maybe not a lot.
Yeah, I think that you know hopefully get to see a little bit more of it this week. You know, I mean they play more coverage. They do play a lot of shell coverage, but the pass rush, they're not bringing as many as, you know, sometimes when Georgia brought 4, it felt like they were bringing 7 at times, you know, and that's real. Like you mentioned, that's a real thing. And, you know, Mississippi, I'm not taking anything away from Mississippi State's front. They have some very good interior D linemen and cause some havoc with their defensive structure. I do believe that we'll have a little bit more time to be able to try to push the ball down the field a little bit more this week.
How much are you guys just kind of itching to get back out there and get a win after that?
I felt it a little today. You know, I think I felt it a little bit today. We've been going against our defense for the last week and running similar type plays, trying to get game plan wise ready, while also getting good work against our defense. So you can feel a little bit they're starting to itch to get onto another opponent, and it'll be an unbelievable atmosphere, which is great.
I mean, Mark said on his radio show that Fortner kind of stepped up and spoke to the team about not playing well down there and the opportunity here. What could that do for a team? What should it do?
I mean, it's huge to have somebody that obviously has had that much experience in his playing career share something that's he feels very important, and it is important for our guys to go down there, you know, with a true mentality. It's not just it is another game, but historically speaking, we haven't played well down there from what I'm understanding, and I know it's a tough place to play, and all those things. Yes, they matter. Yes, they're involved, but I think Luke and Coach Stoops did a great job of sending a message that we do need to lock in just a little bit more this week because of this element and where we're going and how, you know, the atmosphere we're going to play in.
You ready for the cowbells? Your first time?
Coach Buffano keeps walking into my office with the cowbells on repeat on my phone, on his phone, asking me if I can focus and listen. And I heard it's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere, and couldn't be more excited.
You mentioned tight ends a while ago. Is Isaiah Cummings going to be available? Or do you know?
You know, we're not sure yet. I think Coach Stoops will probably know more about that as we go. You know, I'm not positive on that. I haven't heard anything. You know, I think he's just trying to rehab and get back to it. I think Coach Stoops will have a better answer. We'll have a better feel for that as the week goes.